We welcome you into CBS Sports HQ. Kiana Martin here alongside Russ Thaler. In just a day removed from young prospects finding their new homes in the pros and the association, well, the NHL took center ice Friday night for day one of the NHL Draft.
Yeah, emanating from the Sphere in Las Vegas, it was a celebration of new beginnings and of a guy named Macklin Celebrini in particular. Yep, the 18-year-old Hobey Baker Award winner out of the University of Massachusetts was the least surprising pick of the night. First overall to the San Jose Sharks, where Celebrini played 1 year of junior hockey. He'll now return as the prodigal son in the Bay Area, even though he's actually from Vancouver. Here's a look at the top 10 picks from the 2024 NHL Draft. Celebrini, the top choice all along. Now, the last time the Blackhawks drafted in the top 3 in consecutive years, they got a couple of guys named Taves and Kane. Last year was Connor Bedard, and now it's Artem Levshunov, and the two of those guys have a lot to live up to. Now, people seem to think the Canadiens got a steal with Ivan Demidov at number 5. Utah's first draft pick ever comes with some name recognition. Tij Iginla, son of Hall of Famer Jerome Iginla, and the Devils taking a 6'7" teenage Russian defenseman with KHL experience to round out the top 10. And for more on the first round of the 2024 NHL Draft, we say hello to CBS Sports NHL analyst Alan May. And Alan, let's just start at the top with Macklin Celebrini. Everybody knew that the San Jose Sharks were going to take him. Heck, they said they were going to take him in the night of the draft lottery back in May. But now that he's there, we can talk about the player this 18-year-old kid is. What kind of skills are about to drop in San Jose?
He's good at everything that he does. He's an incredible skater, an incredible stick handler. He can pass the puck with so much finesse and sauce. And then he's an excellent shooter. The one-timer is excellent. The skating, shooting on the fly is incredible. There's really nothing he can't do. So, you know, it's just a matter of maturing for him and getting used to playing with NHL players. I don't think he'll go back to college because I'm not sure what he'd be able to prove in going back to Boston University. 32 goals as a freshman, 64 points, Rookie of the Year in Hockey East, and not only that, the Player of the Year in Hockey East and the Hobey Baker Award winner. So this kid has great size. His dad is very proficient in exercise sciences, so you know that he is in excellent physical condition. He will improve more by playing with NHL players, but I expect him to go in the NHL and be a very good everyday player. I don't know how great his stats will be because his team is not that good, but he's going to be fun to watch in years to come.
Yeah, look, no issues with Celebrini going number 1. Everyone figured that. The big drop in the first round was actually really high up the board. It came at number 5, Ivan Demidov, a guy that a lot of people thought had maybe as much talent as Celebrini, but at least the number 2 talent in the draft. Why'd he drop to 5?
Well, because he's played in Russia and no one's had real eyes on him. They've been scouting him through video and not very good video. And he did play in the junior league in St. Petersburg, in the KHL junior league. So, you know, that's one of the things. But I'd rather have a guy that's a big fish in a small pond. And they saw when he went up and played with the men, with the older guys, that he was just as good. And, you know, it's a matter of, you know, he wasn't going to play that much, so he got a lot more ice time there. His skills are insane. At the start of the year, he was right there with Celebrini in the talk of top players. There was a couple other players, too, over here that went way later in the draft. But Demidov, because he's a Russian, not knowing the different situations with getting Russian players over here and when you can get them over here, it's a matter of, you know, how soon would these guys be in your lineup. But I would have thought that he'd be a great complement to Connor Bedard in Chicago because it's not like they have a lot of high-end forwards there. So the future of having a guy like this would have been excellent. But I'm sure that the Montreal Canadiens are very happy to add him to their stable of very good young players with high-end offensive skills.
All right, look, when the Arizona Coyotes picked up sticks and moved to Utah, their history actually stayed in the desert. So technically, this is the first ever draft pick of the Utah Hockey Club. And they went with a guy who actually we're very familiar with the name. It's Iginla. It's Tij Iginla. His dad, of course, is the Hall of Famer Jerome Iginla. But what kind of play? We know about Jerome, what he can do. What's the son like?
Well, this is great pedigree, and I don't believe that you just always draft an NHL player, you know, the kid because his dad played in the NHL. This kid has it all. He's a great skater. He's strong on his skates. He's physical. He goes to the net like a a fullback in the NFL, like a Jerome Bettis type of player, and he's got a shot. He shoots in stride. He's got great touch around the net. He goes straight to the net. He skates in direct lines. So he's a kid. When he does get to the NHL, they've got a lot of high-end talent, young talent, offensive talent in Utah already. I wanted to say Arizona there, but he's an excellent player, and when he gets to the NHL, he's going to be a very good one. He's going to be a serviceable, everyday player with a huge upside, and I expect him to earn his payday every single game that he plays.
Yeah, fathers and sons, sort of a hot topic in the sports world these last few days, but heck, we're watching the Stanley Cup final, and there's Keith Tkachuk looking down at his kid on the ice, and we've seen so many great fathers and sons come through the NHL. They don't even see the Nylanders on this list, but they could be as well. But we got another one coming with Tij and Jarome Iginla.
Yeah, and you know what a great thing to have when you look at the kid, the enthusiasm. But you know, when you saw in the draft the interviews and the things I've read about his father training with him, you know, going head to head with his dad, who was a very physical player, an incredible offensive, like just an all-around player. The guy had it all and was very tough. He's the kind of guy that I wish I could have been as a player. He's a little younger, or a lot younger than me. He got traded for one of my old teammates in Joe Newendike. But this guy could shoot the puck. He'd fight you in the alley. He'd do whatever it needed to take. Excellent penalty kill, power play, you name it. Jarome Iginla was there, and I expect his son to be very good in the National Hockey League as well.
I'll tell you something. Jarome Iginla, saw him on the draft coverage. He's not yet 50. Looks like he could still go. I'm just saying, you never know. All right, let's talk about, look, everybody in the first round is trying to make their team better, obviously. What team stood out to you that did exceptionally well in round one?
Well, there were some great draft picks in this, but when you think of it, you know, not only did the San Jose Sharks get Celebrini first overall, they got a guy, a very good, big offensive defenseman that's got all the attributes, and Dickinson out of the OHL. Who played for the London Knights. These two guys are going to be pairing up on the power play for years to come. A 6'3" guy that can skate, that can shoot the puck. He has all the skills right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to play him in the National Hockey League this season as well, to start just getting him up there. You know, but it never hurts to go back to the London Knights. Dale Hunter does a great job. He runs an NHL style of program. He teaches the players how to play defense. They're all-rounded players, and you look at throughout the National Hockey League, you've got London Knights everywhere. It does a great and an incredible job of bringing players in and developing them. So I expect that to be a very good duo. And there are some other teams. I loved what Ottawa did with Yakimchuk, a big defenseman out of the Western Hockey League, who's got insane skating skills and shooting and goal scoring skills for a defenseman. So he's another player, but really, the defense in this draft in the top 15 picks is phenomenal. And these players are all going to have, all the defensemen are going to have great NHL careers, and they're going to play for a long time. They're not going to be one and done, two and done. They're going to have long careers, 10 to 15 years at a stretch, and they'll be dominant players, the majority of them. Multiple
very large bodies coming off the board on these young players, 6'7", 6'8". We got a few of those guys are going to be entering the league sometime soon. It's going to be a land of the giants. Look, unlike Demidov kind of falling to the Canadiens at 5 with all the talent he has, was there a team that you think reached for a player maybe more than others?
I really thought the St. Louis Blues took a big risk in the player that they drafted, and I believe in this player. He's he's got high-end skills, coming off a couple of major, not one minor, one major knee injury at the World Junior Hockey Championships this last Christmas. And when you look at Adam Juracek, he's got the attributes, and he comes from good pedigree as well. But you just worry about drafting a kid who's already a little bit banged up. How soon can they get him over here? How's his rehab going to go? What's he going to be like? But when you see the highlight clips of him, he looks very well. But I think it's one of those times you've got to hope that it works out and just make sure that the kid is injury-free. You don't want that to be a chronic injury situation. So going forward, it'll be interesting to see how he develops, how quick he develops, because I've seen in the past young players come out of junior hockey and European hockey with significant injuries, and it seems like it plagues them. And it's just a tough go all the way around. And a kid being drafted in the first round just has so much more pressure on him to make the big squad. And sometimes they don't let those players marinate in the minor leagues and develop and get back to their A game and make sure that they're feeling well enough to play significantly and contribute very well every night.
Well, we know every team that's selected in the first round is feeling good about who they selected. How it all plays out is another thing. Round 2 coming your way on Saturday, and then all hell breaks loose on Monday with free agency. It never ends. That's why Alan Mays on the ready at all times. Alan, thanks so much. See you soon. And here's a look at some upcoming dates. Day 2 of the draft, Saturday, and then free agent noon on Monday, July 1st. Preseason starts September 21st. It is all happening off the ice right now in the NHL. Stick with CBS Sports HQ. We got you covered for the very latest.